our spokesperson for the introduction. I want to thank ladies and gentlemen of the press and welcome you to this press conference. Again, we want to express our gratitude for your coming at short notice. We have just completed our National Executive Committee, which has made a number of resolutions that are going to be put before the National Council in a few minutes' time. We do not expect much changes to the resolutions made by the executive in the National Council. But should there be changes that occur while in the National Council, you will be informed so that you update your reports. Today, the National Executive met here in Mwonzora House, Harare, and received reports from the chairman of the Elections Directorate, who is our national chairman, Senator Mwonzora. In that report, we were told about the progress that was made in the by-elections preparations, especially in the nominations. We are happy to announce that in the National Assembly, we have managed to fill the 90% of the candidates. We had a problem in, I think it's Mwenezi and in Berengwa. Some of the seats were for the MDC Alliance partners in 2018. And as you know, we revived the alliance. And we expected them to have filled it in those seats. They were not able to fill it. So we have filled it now 90%. We are very happy about that. In the council, we have been able to fill the 77% of the candidates. We received information about a number of problems, people not appearing in the voters' roll, and some moving away last minute in two areas. But we also had people who had promised to, who actually had submitted their papers, but they didn't pitch up. We are happy that we have gone through that experience because it helps us improve our system. But at the rate of 77% in the council, 90% in the National Assembly, we are very happy. We are also very proud that we are the leading part in fielding women candidates. We have more women candidates than any other party that submitted candidates. We did better than ZANU-PF, we did better than other opposition parties. The second item that we dealt with is our Congress preparations. Our Congress is going ahead on the 5th of March 2022, and all the other preliminary work is going on very well. We have more than 90% again of the districts congresses have been concluded. This weekend we are supposed to hold our provincial congresses in respect of those provinces where the district congresses have already taken place. We are very proud at the level of tolerance that is there internally in the internal elections as we go towards a Congress. We are also very happy that there is a very, very minimum, if not zero, incidents of violence or violent disagreements. So we are very happy about that. We had an opportunity to look at the processes happening in other parties, and we saw a lot of disagreements, a lot of acrimony, and so on. And in the MDCT, we are not seeing that. The National Executive endorsed the elections that have happened in the districts which have held their elections so far. So the results have been endorsed. The National Executive also received information regarding the progress of dialogue, and they expressed their appreciation about by the work that the leadership has done. They endorsed our initiative to go and engage President Mnangagwa at State House on the 6th of January this year. They also directed that the dialogue process must begin in earnest immediately after the by-election. The meeting noted the declarations made recently by Dr. Khupe, our vice president, that there was a split within the party, and that she was the leader of a group in the parliament, and that they were entitled to political parties funding under the Political Parties Finances Act. The National Executive completely rejected the declaration of a split. There is no split within the MDC that has happened. This is because when Dr. Khupe had her meeting, a press conference at the McDonald Hall in Mzilikazi, she was accompanied by only 2 MPs, Honorable Nomvula Mguni and the Honorable Mildred Mangena. That can hardly be described as a split. And also, after her declaration, none of the MPs in Parliament followed her or expressed the solidarity with her. We are also happy to note that 100% of our provinces rejected the call for a split. And they were led by the Bulawayo province, which was the first province to issue a statement, followed by the provinces of Harare, and then Matabeleland North and Matabeleland South. So the provinces have rejected the calls to split the party. We also had statements coming from the organs of the party, the National Youth Assembly and the National Women's Assembly. They expressed solidarity with the leadership of the party elected at Congress, and they reject any declarations of the split. The National Executive also looked at the law regarding the issues of a declaration of split. Declaration of split does not exist. It is not a concept or a term that exists at law anywhere. It is not provided for in our constitution, the constitution of the MDC. It is not there. The issue of the declaration of split, you don't find it in this little book. The declaration of split is also not provided for in the national constitution of Zimbabwe. It is also not provided for anywhere in the legislation. It is also not provided for in the law. This thing came as a result of legal advice that was given by some members of G40, Jonathan Moyo in particular, through Twitter, gave legal advice, and as usual, it is disastrous legal advice. It was also as a result of legal advice coming from half-cooked lawyers, some from the new party now. But this advice, as usual, is wrong, as usual, is a recipe for disaster. They have never advised anybody correctly. Jonathan Moyo and his group, they have never advised anybody correctly. And it looks like they are on a crusade to destroy and decimate the opposition. And they will get the ear of anybody who cares to listen. But what is there is that they failed to split the MDCT. The MDCT is strong, the leadership is there. Yes, there is one person who is unhappy about one or two things. We don't know what those things are. And if that person leaves, it cannot be called a split. It's called a splinter, it's a flick. And therefore, we are not perturbed by that. What that means is that the National Executive has recommended to the National Council that Dr. Khupe is no longer a member of our party by virtue of her declaration. She, according to her, is now a president of a political party. We don't know what that political party is going to be called, but definitely it is not the MDCT. The MDCT is a party that is led by people who follow the law, by people who have gone to the extraordinary Congress. That is the party. That is the party described by the Supreme Court of Zimbabwe in its historic judgment. Therefore, Dr. Khupe will not be allowed to use our name, our symbol, and our party insignia. The National Executive was very happy about the peace and tranquility that is there in the party, and urges all Zimbabweans to register to vote in preparation for the by-elections. Regarding our chances, we received a report that our chances are extremely bright in the coming by-elections. And we want to say to our detractors that the election is not won on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. We are ready for the real battle for the hearts and minds of the people of Zimbabwe. We go into these by-elections with a clear strategy. We are very proud of the quality of our candidates, and we could not wish for more. The quality is good, the competence is very good, and the focus is also excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to this press conference. Thank you. We are not seeking endorsement for dialogue after the by-elections. We are seeking for the commencement of the dialogue, the actual talking. As you know, a lot of time has been spent in preparations for dialogue, internal, in the case of the MDCT, talking to our structures, consulting our structures, and so on, moving back and forth between here and the State House to secure the dialogue. Now, we have finished the preparations now, and we want to do the actual talking, the actual dialogue itself, and it must be concluded at least at the beginning, immediately after the by-elections. We also have said that these discussions must be time-bound. We must agree on the period within which we must conclude an agreement. And your other question is whether we are confident of getting a deal. Yes, we are confident. And it depends on what this deal is. But for us, we want to secure what is in the best interest of the people of Zimbabwe at this point in time. We have already said that this dialogue, from our side, will not focus on power. It will focus on people issues. Eradication, reduction and ultimate eradication of poverty, unemployment, removal of social insecurity. As you know, there is no social protection in Zimbabwe to talk about. The pensions have been eroded. There is inequality in this country, inequality in the access to national resources. We want to get rid of that. We also want to make sure that there is devolution and there is no uneven development in this country. And we want special programs to be embarked on to target those regions that have historically been marginalized. And here I am talking of the regions mostly in Matebeleland North, Matebeleland South, and part of Masvingo, and other areas that have been victims of unequal development. We want to talk about that. We also want to make sure that Zimbabwe's international isolation is removed, so that Zimbabwe becomes a member of the international community, that Zimbabwe is a member of the Commonwealth, and that Zimbabwean traders are able to trade with other people and compete with other traders from other countries on an equal basis. And that is done if we do, if we remove the international isolation of Zimbabwe. We are also going to target social, political, and economic reforms. And on the political reforms, we want to include there the issue of the electoral reforms. One of the key demands that we have made as the MDC is that there must be the diaspora vote. There is no reason why Zimbabweans who are not in this country, not out of choice, but because of circumstance, why they must be disenfranchised. We are against the disenfranchisement of our people, and that is what we want to win. And we are confident that we will win.
Yes, sir.
Robert from SlyMedia.
still on dialogue, I wanted to find out if there are any chances that you are also going to have a dialogue with Dr. Khupe.
Yes, you had your hand up. So.
HSTV, Wesley, I wanted to find out why in Binga you fielded a ZANU-PF member by the name Pegimu Dimba, and she holds a position in the ZANU-PF Women's League.
Okay, sure. Yes, maybe I'll take other questions. I want to come. All right. Or are they? Or the
Yes, those are
we
the
don't have another person. I thought we were going to have a third one.
Any other question, point of clarity? None. Okay, the president will take his
first of all,
question.
I want to talk about the candidate for Binga, Madam Peggy Mudimba. As far as we know, she's a member of the MDCT, a very vibrant member of the MDCT. And she used to be a driver of one of the MPs there, Mr. Joe Gabuza. When she joined the ZANU-PF is news to us. But this is mudslinging that is coming from one of the contending candidates, Mr. Prince Tobacco Spanda. And this does not surprise us. The way his group campaigns is that they don't campaign talking about themselves. They campaign talking about the other people. They have nothing to say about themselves, but they have a lot to say about other people. And that is the kwashioka of strategy that they are suffering from. And we cannot do anything about that. We are fully behind our candidate, Peggy Mudimba, and they are saying this about her because she has high prospects of winning. She is a very, very vibrant person. And also this shows us some of the things that women candidates always go through. Name calling, a lot of untruth is said about them, and this is the effect of discouraging our women. But the MDC is very, very clear. We stand by our women candidates, we stand by our candidates, Ms. Mudimba, and we are going to assist her financially, materially, and in terms of human capital, so that she retains that seat. Mr. Spanda, who is campaigning against our candidate, must learn to campaign clean. As the MDCT, we are calling for a clean campaign. And I have already written to the party members that we will not use hate in this campaign. And we are going to focus on the people issues. And we are not going to focus on propaganda and hate. Dialoguing with Dr. Khupe, I don't know, because we will dialogue with people who have political parties. We don't know what a political party is. Sorry. And we will see as time goes on what she is representing. But of course, yes, we are there to dialogue with anyone. And we have said the dialogue should be inclusive.